Today we are going to start our helpful presentation, and we are Team Blue. First, we're going to talk our need statements. It's a healthy way to test the pathogen in sepsis patients to avoid selective pressure and reduce the perpetuation of antimicrobial resistance.
So about need. What is the need? Reduce the processing time in microbial tests. And what is the problem? Because the patient life is at risk when a sepsis states there is hardly ever enough time for the actual test before it starts antibiotic treatment. What is important? So in sepsis patients we need to be fast. This leads so perhaps the most important topic is to reduce selective procedures in hospitals to shorten the dark.
There are several things that already exist, like the SEPS diagnosis website and this hospital software that combines everything, but there is no app that can be used by the doctor with all the information right on the time.
So about the key stakeholders, we thought about the hospital and the patient. We think that reduce the time is something that matters for the both, because in the hospital you can, you can reduce the time and the cost, and the patient, you reduce the time that you stay at the hospital, the stress, and avoid exposing the patient to multi-resistant bacteria.
Okay, to the market analysis, we separate the test and the system. To later with the same proposed care, good for the patient, good for the manager, through drawbacks inside. Our test will help health professionals that wish to reduce select pressure, perform a rated HD treatment, and enable a more efficient treatment to all. Our system will help hospitals that wish to reduce select pressure, reduce treatment time and cost, and enhance overall production. And about need criteria, these are our topics. Must have decreased the wrong application of ATB by 10%, shorten detection of resistant gene type by 10%, functional immunotest, decrease length of stay in the ICU by 4 hours, increase the specific workload of the hospital staff. And nice to have system integration, encourage the conscious application of TB, decrease the number of discarded drugs, decrease hospital spending, and decrease selective pressure.
So we thought that every minute matter when we were treating about bacteria and infections. So we thought about something that we developed a immunochromatography test and data analysis system, and we think about the working together.
So solution. The immunotest along with this system will optimize every second, but the time spent by the medical team and the hospitalization period of patients. So one faster treatment, more data efficiency, more screening, equal drug economy, more time optimizations, equal reduce of the costs, more reduce of the antimicrobial resistance.
with the system, we thought about taking taking the data and visualize them. You catch all the information about all the patients, where they came from, when they the patient came. And turn numbers into something visual that will help see the size of the problem and reduce and easy the interpretation of the problem.
About the immunotest, we thought that it can effectively lower the treatment cost, and it's locally focused solution, because we are thinking about something made by Brazilian people for our microbiota, so something more specific. And about the system that Bia already said, and so our next steps is develop a new kind of immunotest, deep analysis of the hospital's financial state to improve our concepts and economical viability, and refine and deploy the system's prototype with the help of specialists and never stop iterating. Thank you.
I like the last phrase the best. Never stop iterating. Okay, let's go. Please come back to the nice to have, must have, right? Yeah. Okay, decrease the wrong application of wrong prescription maybe. Wrong prescription will be better, I think. The wrong prescription of ATB by 10%. The first
Yeah.
line. Decrease the wrong prescription, not application, because that seems that something did a wrong application. It was supposed to apply in the arm and did in the gut.
I understand that they're the both things. I think that they can use in a wrong way, the patient,
Okay.
and the doctor can
Prescribe.
prescribe in a wrong
Okay.
situation too.
But just to get more specific, I think prescription it's better to use in that situation. Short the detection of resistant gene time by 10%. If I would say that it takes us in the lab 2 hours to detect a resistance gene, to lower than 10%, it will signify 12 minutes. How would that help?
In that case, we were not thought about the
Protection?
No.
Resistance gene?
We thought about in local.
Okay.
You don't have to send to the main lab and then return and
But I know, I got the picture, but
in local.
you won't do that with only 10% reduction. I mean, you gotta put it in some other way, like to reduce in 1 hour or to reduce in 2 hours or something like that. Because 10% is really sharp. It will
In a time like
it
this.
will be like 12 minutes.
Mhm.
That doesn't matter. And I think I didn't see your existing solutions. Do you have a slide on that?
Yes.
Go back.
And
Key stakeholders. Oh, what are they emerged? Okay.
These
What I'm trying to figure out. Yeah. Okay. That you proposed a mixed solution
Yes.
that has quick detection together with a new system. It will help you visualize. So integrate. You put something about the apps and systems, but you didn't mention the already existing immunochromatography solutions. And that's important because that's the hard part for you to develop, the hardware.
But
To develop a new immunochromatography, it takes a while. You know that.
yes,
You work in a place that's trying to develop some of them and already developed others in an institution. So that might take 2, 3, 4 years. And the system, it's not that it's easier, but the system is more feasible, it's more concrete. If you want to do both things, you're gonna have to really work hard in the hardware. Because there is, like I said before, there's a lot of dinosaurs developing fast tests, but I have to tell you, there's one guy, he was from northeast state, I think Sergipe. He went to do his PhD in California, and he was doing a discipline like this, an innovation discipline, and he developed an immunochromatography test for tuberculosis, and then he decided to make a company, and then he pivoted his systems to detect antimicrobial resistance. And to make a long story short, he sold his company for $32 million to Roche. And it began in a program like this. I tried to bring him to give a speech in 2016, but he was not available. He was having too much appointments in California, so he's living in California. He was hired by Roche to keep developing his test. So I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying that you have to wait because it's a huge effort. Okay? You should take your team to IBMP, to ICC, to talk with the researchers, to do some interview, to see what kind of field they're stepping in. It's exciting. It really is. If you do make this, but you're gonna have to consider a lot of things. Are you going to do a test that detects sepsis only? You have to be aware, I already mentioned this today, there is an exit solution that detects 23 microorganisms at once in 4 hours. So, do you want to detect the microorganism or just say, my patient is in on sepsis? If you only want to say he's on sepsis, it's one thing. If you want to detect the microorganism, it's another thing. So you have to tune your objective better. Alright? You want to say something?
I think that what we are trying to do is tell the doctor if a patient has a microorganism, there is resistance for the antibiotics that the doctor is giving him.
So you want to detect a microorganism in the resistant gene.
Yeah.
So this solution already exists. You can come up with a different new solution to the same problem. But this already exists. And another important system that already exists, and it has to do with the something like the sepsis diagnosis website or detecting if patients is on sepsis or not necessarily detect the bacteria. It's a program called RoboLaura. Have you ever heard of RoboLaura?
Yes.
So RoboLaura keeps fishing data from patients and detects if the patient's on sepsis or not, automatically. And it will run a message to the doctor, an alarm. So there are some existing solutions. You need to look deeper into existing solutions to try to come up with something really new. And if you want to do, as you said, detect if the bacteria is present and if it's treatable or not, or if it's resistant, you have to go to detect resistance gene. And the problem is, you cannot detect only KPC, because there's KPC, NDN, MCR, and all the soup of letters. I don't know if there is this expression in English, but there's a lot of resistance genes that you must think about it?
First, I thought in detecting resistant enzymes that can break antibiotics like the beta-lactamases.
Okay.
But because there are many of them and they are very different from each other, developing an immunotest that can do this is very, very hard. So I think in a different approach. I can detect them, how do you say metabolic?
Metabolites.
I can detect the metabolites that this bacteria generates inside the human host. Like when the antimicrobial passes from the liver break it down. That's why you have to take a lot of doses of the doses of the drug. But a lot of when you see the beta-lactam ring, the liver enzymes break it in one way, and a lot of beta-lactamases break it in another way. So we think that we can develop antibody that can detect these different metabolites. So if a patient is being treated with a drug, and somehow this drug is in the organism in the way that was break it down for one of the beta lactamases, we can detect it.
Yeah, it's similar to what we do nowadays to detect
with pregnancy.
Yeah.
It's
I was going to say another thing. There is a test, a carbapenemase test, that you don't detect specifically which enzyme is being produced. You detect there is an enzyme and hydrolyze carbapenemic antimicrobial. So that's enough for the treatment. You cannot use carbapenem.
Yes.
General. So you don't have to go specifically. So you don't have to think, using your idea, you don't have to think in each of the groups. You can think generally. But that probably will work for a class, an antimicrobial class, like beta-lactamic, which is more than 60% of the prescription. Is very important. But it won't solve the whole problem. You will detect if it is carbapenemase or not, but you will not detect if it's polymyxin, or if it's amikacin, or if it's something else resistant. Okay? You just have to be aware of that, because human being is very unsatisfied. Once you put the product, oh, see, this is fantastic. You detect in 1 hour if the bacteria is resistant or not to beta-lactamic. Someone will ask you, only beta-lactamic drugs? What about the others? I'm just preventing you of what are you going to find out.
It's just the beginning.
Okay.
First, I will tackle the big part of the problem and then break it down. Because just doing the big part is
Yeah.
it's not hard.
I think one other thing that I need to tell you that it's not so early, but maybe we do have time to think in other kinds or other types of solutions. In our discussion, we are focused too much on the solution. We should not do this right now. You're gonna have time to think about other solutions, other existing solutions, and how yours can be different. For an instance, for like a provocation, why do not think about mass spectrometry? Okay, immunochromatography has a lot of advantage. You can take it wherever you want. To the countryside, to a small city, But if you're dealing with an ICU patient that it has sepsis, you are at least in a hospital that has some infrastructure. So maybe you can do this with a more high throughput and a more recent technology. Maybe. You just have to think later about the solution better. Just iterate, like you said. Keep iterating the solution. And take a look about the existing solution, immunochromatography. There is immunochromatography solution, Chorus is the name, that detects KPC and NDM by immunochromatography. So you have to think something different, maybe metabolites, as you said.
Thank you.
Professor Madeira.
If I could just take a look at the must-have, nice-to-have slide again. I didn't quite get what you mean by increase the specific workload of the hospital staff. All we want to do is to decrease workload of the hospital staff. No, we don't want to increase workload. So, what do you mean by that? Increase the specific workload of the hospital staff.
I think that we just
You rolled your
Already, they spend a lot of time doing the same thing several times.
Right.
And then with this, it will, you have to do one time and then you,
left.
Leave
You have
more
time left.
you have time left to do other things and then focus on your real work that's not patient bills.
Right, it's not quite the way to state that, I think, it's just
just
confusing, yeah.
phrase it wrong.
Yeah.
They say they spend 3 hours with this and they can use these 3 hours
For another.
for another things.
Yeah, so,
Yeah,
so
that's.
spare,
3
so
hours
you
a
should, yeah,
day.
should rephrase that, like,
Eh.
spare
The idea
time
is okay.
for, yeah,
Just
all right.
changing.
And the one above it, right above it, decrease length of stay in the ICU by 4 hours. Where did you get that number from? Why 4 hours? How did you come up with that?
Sorry, just like
The,
So a patient in sepsis, did you find exactly how many hours on average a patient spends in the ICU unit?
yeah, was in a patient that is with sepsis, in 8 hours, the patient probably will be dead if you don't treat him with the right drug.
Right.
So by decreasing this time for 4 hours,
Oh, so you mean 2 4 hours, not by 4 hours then?
yes,
To decrease length of stay in the ICU, 2 4 hours.
yeah. I'm really sorry.
Okay, not by 4 hours.
Yes.
You want to decrease hospital stay in 24 hours, is it correct? Not 4. Because 4 doesn't mean nothing.
it's like the 10% in the
Yes,
time.
4 hours, there's nothing different for this patient, just 4 hours, more or less, in the ICU.
And this may be a patient that's gonna stay in the ICU for like a week, so what's 4 hours in a week?
Yes,
So how did you come up with that number?
probably they'll stay at least 48 hours if you respond well to the first treatment. If it's go wrong, it will stay a week, a month, and changing antibiotics. So 4 hours, there is nothing, even for hospital costs, it doesn't make any difference, okay? Where do you want to apply the solution you are trying to take? In what scenario?
Hospitals,
Okay.
but it can be a One Health solution because
Veterinary.
veterinarians can use too to prevent
What's the metaprophylaxis?
metaprophylaxis.
Okay, but where in the hospital? In the ICU? In the emergency room? Where do you think this is gonna use it?
In the
ICU.
In the ICU.
First, we thought about reducing the 72 hours, not the 4 hours
Okay.
that you discovered. Is the 72. We thought about the right treatment.
Yes.
Is about all saving time in reducing the selective pressure, not discover and identify the resistant gene. It's about prevention. That is our idea, and that would be used after the culture.
Blood culture.
Blood culture, after the blood culture, when the machine
Gives a positive result.
if there's a positive result, you can identify what the right treatment.
You can think in the emergency room also.
We thought about UPAs.
Even, yes, let me put you in a real example. A simple infection, sore throat. Okay, we have a high rate of antibiotic resistance. If you have a test that's very fast, and the doctor no, this kind of patient I cannot give penicillin or derivates. It's excellent. You have a lot of market for this. You go, okay, you're a case for other antibiotics, go home.
And then you can isolate the patient to make
And it's very interesting because in the hospital you have a lot of different bacteria.
a lot of
A lot. But for this patient with sore throat or ITU, urinary infection, you don't have time to stay with this patient in the emergency room. You have to leave him home early. But if you know this case is a patient with the gene or it's the enzyme, something you can change, you can detect this is a case of resistance. You can go for this patient is very interested to do this, and you can restrain the kind of enzymes or markers. And the problem you have, I don't have, I just have for KPC. For the ICU, it's interesting. But for bacta-lactamases, super resistance is very interesting for the ER and the UPAs. We can use it all over the hospitals, even the private ones will be very interesting.
And the main object is that it's cheap. We want something cheap
And fast.
and fast,
You need to-
because Brazil
Easy to use.
is too.
Maybe not, I think you have surgery in the ICU. You can think in other places in the hospital and the UPA and wherever, even in the office of the doctor. We treat a lot of things, sore throat, rhinitis, and if you have some specific tests for this very common bacteria, I think you have market for this.
Thank you.
Okay?
Great ideas need a lot of effort, a lot of strength, a lot of research, and a lot of energy. So don't think the comments I'm doing here is to put you down. No, not at all. It's only to provoke you all, not only the blue team, all the teams. The comments we made here, it's to make you more thoughtful and to think about different scenarios and to start to think what you didn't think before. That's our job here, the mentors. That's why we keep not pointing the finger at you, but trying to see things that you might haven't seen yet. Okay? So don't take it personally, and don't think we are just blaming you or picking on you. We just want you to get better, all of you, all the teams. Okay? Does anyone want to make another comment? Oh, Professor Herai.
So, I think that your idea is super cool, right?
Thank you.
And I know this kind of application. I'm used to work with some people using this kind of tool. So, but one thing that I think that could be better to introduce in the presentation is to try to show what's the state of art for this field. I mean, what are the specific applications that are being used in Brazil and outside Brazil, in different countries, right? Because if you are presenting to some people, like for clients, for industries, hospitals, you have to show to them that you have like in Brazil you have this application Albert Einstein and another application that's being used by Curitiba hospitals and also in United States as well, right? That show presenting the names, exactly the names and the functionalities, right? Describing clearly, so you have to go back to Google, try to check what are the applications that are being used, what are the conditions, what are the specific capabilities of the applications. So then you have something, some basement to define your application, right? Your idea is super cool, but for me it's still naive because you have to have more things clear. So then propose something. So now so in this presentation you propose the application, but for me it's very cloudy. It's kind of, you have an idea, but it's not very clear. I mean the kind of organisms that you will be trying to detect, right? Because chromatography is very you have to refine the methodology to be able to detect something, right? That's very important. If you want to detect some gene, like you said that there you must have, you are trying to detect a resistant gene. Gene is very difficult to detect, right? That could be a methodological error in your product, maybe depending on the kind of application you are proposing technology, right? So that's why we are here, the mentors and the specialists, right? Yeah, for me the take-home message is to try to find the specify better the competitors, the other applications, right? I don't know if you have the answer right now. You have to go back and check out the application that's being used in the market. So then you can present to me or to other people. So we have this in the market, and now I have the solution, a better solution. So in my opinion, right? So 10% it's okay. It's a good improvement, right? If I'm dying, if you improve my possibility to keep surviving for 10%, right? That's important. But at the same time, depending on the application, depending on the scenario, right?
At first we thought about Brazil locally, and this cloud is on purpose because we didn't want to bring already the project. Yeah, this is our project, requires a lot of research and market analysis and see which the it's specific and all the specifications of the project, but it was for hearing all your thoughts about, and that's why we didn't restricted the project.
We have more time. So that's very important. I understand that you are like still developing the protocol as well, and so I know that you have different backgrounds because I know some people that are presenting. I think that you could try to split the presentation based on your background. That could be better, right? Could be more convincing, because sometimes I saw that you were discussing about the application there, and I know that Avila, he knows how to create application, deal with the softwares, but he didn't present that part, right? That's very important. And I can see you guys presenting this, improving this presentation and giving a pitch for a group of investors, and trying to convince them to put money in your product, in your solution, right? This is as I said before, my first words, your idea is super cool, right?
And
Just
today,
yeah.
today we have a lot of problems with the team, and the next time we will be better.
We'll be here. But thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All of your pictures.
Well, this is all part of our job. You don't have to thank it. It's our mission here. What I want to say, especially for the mentors, that this kind of presentation was taught by Javi, and he is gonna watch all the pitches. We had some technical problems with the 3 first teams that were without voices, but they're recording the voices again. And the main focus was on the need statement. That was the most important one. And it's very hard, even for me, it's very hard to not think about the solution. And we discuss a lot about the solution with all the groups. But they do have some time to develop the solution now, to get it more clear, to get it more explicit. So that will be the final round, the next and final round. So I'm just, what? Yeah, it's only the seed now. Yeah, the seed, now I got it. So, let's just say thanks again to the Blue Group. Now we turn off the microphone and we can speak back in Portuguese. Bom, vocês sabem